Hello everybody! Today I am finally back after 3 months of not posting. I've just disappeared off the face of the planet. But today, we're starting a brand new series where I'm going to show you how to make a in-depth platformer game. We're going to start off with the basics today. Just get gravity, player movement, collisions, all that handled. We're going to set up object collisions in this tutorial. But we will transition to tile collisions once I have the motivation to create some art for it. Or at least I'll try to give you kind of both options for whichever one you choose to use. I personally like using object collisions as a parent system, but tile collisions are perfectly fine and actually easier for some people. So, I've already took it upon myself to make this totally detailed collision sprite and player sprite. You can tell there was a lot of artistic vision here. Anyways, we have a collision object, collision parent, collision player. Sorry, they have nothing in them yet. I just kind of made these to be set up for this video. But for the collision, we're not going to do anything in this. Actually, we're going to go and do everything in the player today. So. The things we're going to cover is player movement, jumping and everything, collisions, maybe double jumping, and just kind of making it smooth and polished will make the player movement seem pretty buttery. But yes, we're going to do that. So, what we're going to do is make a create event, which just for those who are newer to GameMaker, the create event is the thing that runs when the instance is first created in the game. So the first thing the code will run for 1 frame, either upon creation or room start, in a way. Now, we're going to start with x velocity equals 0 and y velocity equals 0. We don't have to put anything here as we don't want to start with initial speed in either of these. The next thing I want to add is gravity. We're going to set this to 0.3, I think, is a good number. And then we're also going to have a variable for jump height. And I'm just going to set it to 5. Oops. And actually set it to -5 because negative is positive on the y-axis. It's swapped. Well, negative is up. Oddly enough. So now we have this. And these are actually the main variables we will need for the entire player. We're going to go and create a step event. And we're just going to make a place to put the inputs. So I'm just going to create a little region here so we can minimize it if we need. And I'm just going to call this input. And within this, I'll wait for this to show up. This is just so you can close it so it's not in the way. But I'm going to initialize inputs here. So I'm just going to put var, which all var is a temporary variable. That's what I call it, at least. It's pretty much a variable that's not stored in memory and is deleted after use within the single frame it is used. At least that's how I believe it is. It should be. So don't quote me on that, but it acts like that in a way. It's not stored in your memory. Now, we're going to say left equals keyboard, check, and then ORD, since it is a ordinary key. If you're using WASD, you would do ORD. If not, you can do the arrow keys. Actually, for this, we'll do the arrow keys. I'm not a huge fan of doing arrow keys most of the time, but we'll do it today. And I'm just going to copy this 4 times and replicate everything we need on left, right. Oh, wait. Sorry, 3 times. This is going to be jump. I forgot what kind of game I'm making. So, left, right, and space. Jump is going to be space. Instead of saying keyboard check, we're going to do check pressed. And this is just so you don't jump in midair, or every time you hold your space bar, it just flies. We're not trying to create that. So now I'm just going to minimize this. We don't really need it. And now I'm going to calculate the velocities. So I'm going to say var, xvel equals, and instead of doing a simple, right minus left, I love that, but I do want smooth movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lerp xvel to be, what was I saying? xvel to right minus left. So we're pretty much just going to ease it. And I'm just going to put 0.1, which is 10%. So every time this runs in the step event, it'll get 10% closer to the target or value 2. And I'm going to do the same thing with, well, I'm not going to do the same thing with yvel. What we're going to do is yvel plus equals gravity. And it's just going to be a static gravity. It's not going to have any acceleration or anything, just to keep it super simplistic. And if you want, just to make this even easier, you can put it to 0.2 so you don't have any pixel issues, because it'll do in increments of fifths of a pixel, I should say. Now, next thing we're going to do is just say x plus equals xvel, just to make sure everything is working, and y plus... we're not going to do y yet. We're just going to set this up, and my room is massive, so I'm going to make this smaller. If you don't know how, you can change room size right here. And a good resolution I use for most of my games is 480 by 270. And how I got to this is viewport 0 in viewports and cameras. Enable that, hit visible, and then this is your game resolution that it is being downscaled from. So I just do 1280 720. Just while I'm running it in testing, I would always add a full screen option later on. We're just going to put the player here. And we're going to go ahead and run this. Please no crash, please no crash. And now if we hold right, and then left, you see how it eases its movement and doesn't actually instantly snap. That's because I really wanted it to feel super buttery, but also kind of awkward to work with. We are going to speed that up a little bit, make it a little bit faster for that transition, but then we're also going to get a move speed. And we're going to set this to just 2, which is going to be twice the amount. And instead of doing this, we're going to put those in parentheses and then multiply it by move speed. And then that will get us the move speed we're looking for. And it's definitely not instant, but it's not super slow either. So it's somewhat easy to understand there. So boom. And now obviously we need to get our gravity working. So we're going to do that next. So what we need now is a collision system, and I'm actually going to make another region for this, since it is not the greatest thing to look at most times. I'm going to say if place meeting with x, y, o collision. I'm just going to get that working, and then where it says x, we're going to say plus xvel multiplied by move speed. And this is going to check our current velocity multiplied by our speed ahead of our player to see if there's a collision. And if there is, we're going to say while not place meeting xyo collision, and we're just going to nest that and say xvel equals 0. That's just so it stops when you collide with that. But while you're not place meeting with x plus, and now this is where it changes, sine of xvel multiplied by move speed. And what sine will do is it will return either a 1, -1, or 0, dependent on if your variable is, equal to 0, or if it's greater or less than 0. So it'll return negative, positive, or I'm just going to say null in a way, just being 0. Just nothing. But yeah, we're going to do that, and we're going to say x plus equals sine of xvel multiplied by move speed. And this will just add to that value until we are currently touching that wall. So now that is the horizontal. And now we're just going to copy this. Don't need to be too fancy. And do vertical. So what we're going to do is literally just Control X, Control V. And same thing with this, Control X, Control V, doing it to the Y instead. And then we're going to change this to Y, and then make sure these are changed to Y speed on all of these. And actually, we're not going to multiply by move speed on the Y axis, because that is gravity being applied, and not necessarily our move speed, because that is a target speed. Now we're going to say y plus equals yvel. And now, if you are touching the ground, so first it'll it'll add gravity onto your velocity. But if you are colliding, it'll set it to 0 before it applies it to your actual axis. So if you're touching the ground, you won't be moving because it'll equal 0 at all times. Supposedly. It should. Yeah, it definitely should. I had to think about that for a moment, because if you're not moving, but you shouldn't be well, no, we're going to try this out. I think it actually might have some issues. Oh, it actually doesn't. Okay, never mind. I lied. So yes, we are currently touching this, and it is colliding with the ground. Perfect. Now, we do want to be able to jump. So we're going to just into this region so I can collapse this here. And now, before the collision, we're going to handle jump. So if jump, because we had that specified in our input, if jump, then we're going to say yvel plus equals, and we're saying plus equals instead of minus equals because we put our jump height at a negative number. And we're going to say plus equals jump height. Now I'm just going to minimize, I'm going to keep that open. And now, if you press space, it will jump, but it doesn't let you, with our current system, you can jump multiple times. And yeah, obviously that's not necessarily what you want. And we're not going to say plus equals, we're just going to say equals, now that I think about it, because if we do add double jumping, it will be velocity based. But this will kind of give it that spring kind of movement when you jump. But that is how that works. That is a super simple movement system. And yep, this is the total code. Super simple, super compact. Obviously, it's something to build off of as well, and not necessarily the final result of what you might need. And if it is, congratulations, you are done. But there are still some issues that we'll encounter, like being able to jump in midair if that's not something you want to do, or if you want to limit your jumps. I personally wouldn't do it. So where it says xvel equals 0, right? We are going to say, let's think. So we're going to make a variable actually for is grounded. And the reason why we are doing this is because we need to know when you can jump. So we're going to say is grounded is true here. And when you, I'm just going to say else, is grounded equals false. Just like so. And when you jump, just say and is grounded. That just means is true if you don't put equals true. Now, if I spam jump, I can only jump when I am on the ground. So that is great. And actually, we're going to change this jump key to be Z. Just because with this kind of layout, it's nice to have arrow keys, ZXCV, those kind of, classic kind of games that you might see, especially with Pico 8 games. I like that. Moving system is glidey, and it doesn't seem to have many issues. And we're actually going to throw a platform here just to kind of show you that the system does work with the horizontal. So if you see here, I go to the corner, I can't move. If I jump, I just barely make it. And that is that. Now, if we want to implement something like wall jumping or something like that, obviously this jump system will need to change a little bit, except just to see if you're touching a wall pretty much. Instead of is grounded, we'll do is touching wall or something like that. And we can cover that in further tutorials. I just don't want to keep this one too long-winded, but I did want to get the basics out of the way just so we could start this tutorial. So the next thing I'm going to implement is just a camera system, which I've already made one of these. I'm going to import it and then walk you through it just because I don't really want to make it again, to be honest. But I will add this quick. And what this camera does in very simple terms, you can set your camera width, camera height, your follow object, so the object you're going to follow, the camera speed. These are just variables that you don't need to change. And it also has cam shake built into it. So if you go here, I just have, if your follow object is not equal to no one. Ooh, that's, I don't know why it's like that. Lucky. Yeah, pretty much saying if there's an object you're supposed to be following, follow that object. And then it's just going to lerp the X of the camera position and Y of the camera position to the X2 and Y2. And then the camera shake, this will just lerp the value back to 0 and then offset it if it's above 0. Yes, and then it sets your view size to just match your camera width and height, and view position to equal the X coordinates, but so it positions at the top left. So now I'll give you a moment to just look over the create event again, and the step event. And then this is just the camera. I call it O camera. We're going to throw this into the room, and we're going to make sure the player, player is specified. And if I were to go ahead and run this, it will be a smooth camera system. So it won't instantly snap to the player, but it really matches this play style where the player, you know, has its smoothing movement with the camera smoothing as well. It's a cherry on top. It is beautiful. And we're also going to create an alternative input to this in case somebody doesn't like using Z. We're going to say keyboard check pressed. This is saying ORD. We're going to say VK up just for the up arrow in case that is something you prefer. So you could either hit up arrow or Z, and then that will trigger the jump. So yeah, that will be all for this first tutorial. Do keep... what am I saying? Stay tuned for the next tutorial, part 2. Jeez, I cannot talk. And I will probably cover something like wall jumping and getting all that stuff situated. And we'll probably even go into some other kind of timer system. So the jumping isn't necessarily, you know, super brutal. So like if you see here, I fall off that edge. I can't always jump at the last second. I forgot what people call those, but we're going to add those. I'll have to look up that term, though. But anyways, we will get that added, and I will be with you guys in the next episode.